Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. I am Frank. That is Bill. That is an empty desk where Cindy should be, but she's out of town at the moment.
Yep, it's a tight shot, so you can't even see it.
Oh, a tight shot with no Cindy. How's it going, Bill? What's been going on this week?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I mean, just, well, you know.
7 days of nothing?
It's, you know, it's the letdown after the trivia contest, you know, and being depressed because, you know, we didn't win.
Was that depressing?
Yeah, well, because, you know, somebody came up with some difficult questions, and I thought they were unfair.
Well, did you really think they were unfair?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I
did think the whole office thing was, because I have...
It's a popular topic in trivia groups, so I figured somebody at your table would know it. And you told me you guys knocked it out of the park.
Well, that's only because we had Tara with us. If we didn't have Tara with us, and which I understand was a hardship for you.
It was.
And but if we didn't have that, we'd have been in trouble.
So other than the office category, what was the hardest category for you guys? Because what we had Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes from Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah.
We had retail. We had westerns. The Office. Right. What am I missing, Bill?
Your clock's not working.
Well, what am I missing? That's five
we
categories.
Had cars.
Cars, yes.
Yeah, discontinued
car brands in America. Yeah.
And I had a little bit of difficulty. I was happy I got Pierce Arrow, that I pulled that one out.
That's a classic.
I was happy about.
It's a classic.
But yeah, I missed some of the other ones, and so
I was surprised how many people struggled on the retail ones. I thought those were layups.
Yes. Well, the Costco one was. I didn't know that they don't pay for advertising.
They don't
advertise.
I didn't know that. That's a true story.
They never do that, and I had no idea. Because everybody knows about Costco. Everybody's heard of Costco, but they don't advertise.
Yeah, those were much harder than the top 10 retail businesses in the country. I thought those would be pretty straightforward with little clues.
Yeah,
but
Well,
I stand corrected.
It was more difficult. You know, well,
I figured that'd be a layup.
From just out of the weird. You know, sometimes it just doesn't
out of the
come
weird, Bill.
Yeah, out of the weird.
Okay.
I just, I'm
going to use that. I'm going to use that more often.
You should.
I just found that out of the weird.
Well, and you did have the Frank phrases.
Yes.
Frank phrases.
Frankisms. Yes,
Frankisms. And we were very fortunate again to have Tara there as well, because she knows a lot of them, and she helped us out.
I digress.
Otherwise, we would. Yes. Exactly.
I digress, Bill.
That one, you digress. I knew that one right away, and there was.
Osteoderms. We were talking about osteoderms. Forever chemicals.
Right. Yes. I knew that.
Biomagnification.
That I didn't know. I think Tara knew that.
Yeah, somebody said bioaccumulation instead of biomagnification, which is pretty solid. Not the same thing, but pretty solid.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They were getting there.
Yeah. No, I thought you had good subject. Your questions were good. You know, after any kind of trivia, I always walk away feeling like an idiot, like I'm just dumb. I don't know anything.
See, par for the course.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew. So we had a baffler. We have a baffler when I host trivia for the Women's Center.
And that's the thing. If you get the baffler, you win the thing.
It helps you, even if you're behind.
Well, the last 2 years that you've done it, whoever wins the baffler wins the thing.
That's true. So wait, let's introduce Micah and ask
him
if he knows the baffler.
We'll put him in there.
Oh my!
So we are blessed to be joined today by Micah Nix, a prominent local businessman and awesome person in general.
I don't know about prominent.
Oh well, thank you, Micah. Thank you for being here. So baffler, we're gonna hit you with this question real quick. This thing was first.
Now hold on. Let's explain. The baffler is he has 8 rounds of trivia.
Yes.
And he at the end of each round he gives you a clue about the baffler, and it starts off obscure and gets a little bit more detailed through all 8 rounds. And at some point, somebody will guess it and somebody will get it, and they get 10 bonus points.
It can accumulate quickly.
Yeah, and so that helps you quite a bit.
And it's a person, place, or a thing.
Right. So go ahead.
This thing was first, I'd say used. Let's say used. In 1837. The second one was it had 2 patents, one issued in 1913 and 1917. The third one was it was patented by B.F. Goodrich.
Okay.
So you let me know if you're thinking of something that makes sense here. The fourth one was it's something that's used by every person in America every single day.
Right, and that's I think where it stopped. I think that's
where somebody got it. Yeah.
Then somebody.
Well,
got
actually,
it.
2 teams got it, and I was like,
Right, 2 teams.
I couldn't believe that 2 teams got it at that point.
Well, if it's BF Goodrich, it's got to be made of rubber.
It's not.
Really?
Yeah, and that's it.
It can be made out of.
We were thinking first like vulcanized rubber. Then we were thinking like maybe brake pads.
I saw radial tires, all kinds of interesting things.
Because the time, the timelines, 1913, 1917.
Right. It's going to be about the time that they're not using wood-spoked wheels anymore.
Right, and so
you put rubber on them.
The next clue would have been this thing could be made out of either plastic or metal. Originally, when it was originally designed, it was made out of wood.
So if it's something everyday use.
Everyday use.
Yeah.
You used it multiple times a day.
Well, multiple times. Well,
multiple times.
That eliminates a toothbrush.
Yeah. But
we've all used it multiple times a day.
Yeah. It's and once you know it,
once you think of it, you kind of go,
then
it's
that's there,
kind of silly.
and you can't unthink it.
You want me to hit you with this one?
Yeah, bring it.
It's the zipper.
Absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had 3 other clues that went with it as well, but again, it never got there. I was shocked that somebody got that after 4 clues. I was like, okay, I would have never imagined that people would have got that.
I
after
would
4
have had no
clues.
idea that B.F. Goodrich actually invented the zipper.
He was an inventor of like 300 different things.
That doesn't surprise me.
I had no idea of that either. I didn't know he was such
Yeah.
a big-time inventor.
Well, most of the people that invent something have invented many. They just have an inventive mind, and they don't slow down.
It's true. All right, you ready to get in the interview?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's do it.
Let's chat about this. Micah, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about you. I know you're from the Space Coast here.
I was born and raised right here, born in Jess Parish, and have lived here my entire life. Never lived anywhere else.
You went to school at?
I actually went to Apollo Elementary.
Okay.
And then switched over to Madison. So I had to learn all new friends because there was only 8 of us that went from a school that was supposed to come to Titusville High School.
Okay.
And we went to Madison, so we had to learn all new friends. But later in life, it gave us a much better understanding of who the community that we live in, because I know on both sides of the tracks all the same age group growing up that went to both high schools. So.
And your family's been in this area for a long time, yeah?
Oh, yeah. From the early 50s, my grandfather was Pastor Klaus. He had Good Shepherd Lutheran Church on the Garden Street there since the 50s.
Okay.
And my grandfather Nix actually worked on the Apollo missions. He was an electrician in the capsules.
Wow.
So we've been here a long time. So.
Now tell us a little bit about your journey growing up here. Where'd you go to high school? What'd you end up doing for a living? Tell us all the things.
Well, most of the time, all through growing up, I grew up north of Mims, almost to Scottsmore. So I was in the woods most of the time.
Yeah, that's very much changed, like everything else has.
Yep, it was a dirt road when I lived on it, and now it's paved, and everything's come into modern day society. But I stayed in the woods a lot. Most of the time, I had an Army sleeping bag, and I would be in the woods sleeping and just playing in the woods. That's where I was most comfortable and grew up, much like you.
Yep, not a whole lot different for sure.
But as I went to school, I went to Madison, and then I actually graduated from Astronaut High School.
Okay.
And all of my kids have graduated from Astronaut High School. And I started doing the family business, which was pest control. And year over year, I would look at the application of chemicals and things like that and think that there's got to be a better way. So what we did was I studied a lot on what's called integrated pest management. And what that is the use of mechanical means to rid the house of pests rather than just broadcast chemicals. If you've got ants coming through the window, well, then caulk the window. It's very simple principles.
When you first started doing this, what did your family, who's been in the business forever, did they go, what in the world are you trying to do?
Yeah, I was kind of outside the box. I just looked at the industry and figured out there's better ways that we can help the ecology and not broadcast fertilizer and things like that all the time. Or as time went on, I was able to do a lot of different things. Such as the creation of the bedbug dog. We taught dogs how to sniff out bedbugs in hotels, and we could actually isolate the insect and find the insect so we could treat those areas specifically rather than broadcast spray pesticides over everybody's bed in a hotel.
Oh, cool.
So, okay,
So now,
there's
how,
so many questions on
Oh.
that. Yeah.
so now, how do you train a dog to do that? Or is it a specific kind of
Great
dog?
question.
It is.
there-
It's not a specific kind of dog.
Okay.
We do use houndy type dogs, and that
Okay.
I mean, we're not going to train a pit bull to sniff out bed bugs in hotels because we interact with guests. So it's going to be a beagle or a dachshund
Okay.
or something that's a lot more friendly, such as the family dog. But a houndy type dog, it does have a better nose. But what we would look for is we would look for a food drive. Actually, if the dog went crazy over a little bit of kibble, that's our candidate. Because any dog
Okay.
that's food driven, the way that police dogs are trained is toy rewards. So they would actually do their job, and then you'll see, such as a drug sniffing dog, when they alert, they actually play with a toy and they'll throw a toy for them. So the toy is the reward. Well, with a bed bug dog, if we were to train them with a toy and we'd throw a toy across the hotel room, well, they're going to break the lamp and cause a lot of damage and rip the curtains off the wall. So we have to find a way to train the dogs that's a lot more peaceful in those settings. So what we would do is we would use food as the main driver. So what we would do is when we would start feeding the dog, we would feed them next to a vial of bed bugs. I had my own colonies of bed bugs that I'd raised over the years. And we would feed the dogs next to the bed bugs, and then they would start to assimilate food with the scent of bed bugs.
That's
Then
ingenious.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
wow.
and when training animals, repetition is the key. Repetition, high praise, and then food is the ultimate reward. So as we would train these dogs, we would start to move the bugs around. So then they would figure that we were moving the food around. So when they would find the bugs, and it just became a hide and seek game.
Okay.
Now, were you one of the first people to do this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were
Yeah.
in the first of that
The
line.
very front line. We were about 10 years ahead of the game, and the whole thing was based on there was years ago there was a termite sniffing dog, and
See, I didn't know that either.
yeah,
Okay.
and they could actually sniff out methane. Termites are one of the highest methane producers on the planet.
Oh, okay.
So
This is trivia in its own right.
absolutely, there's a lot to know.
Yeah.
But the termite dog actually worked himself out of a job because when real estate agents would hire a termite company to do a visual inspection, that's what the state requires, is just for us to look at it and give a professional opinion of the state of that structure at the time of the inspection. Well, the dogs would go above and beyond, and they would find things that aren't visible. So they would search around the base of the house and they would find some subterranean termites. And then if you have people from up north that don't deal with termites trying to buy a house in Florida, and this dog pointed out that there's termites in the ground, it would kill the sale. So real estate agents stopped using the guy that had the termite dog. But the difference was everybody wants to know where the bed bugs are. Whether it be the hotel owner, whether it be a landlord, whether it be the tenant, whether it be the guest at the hotel, everybody wants to know because they're just painful. It's a mosquito without wings. And
Okay.
only about 50% of the people react to bed bugs.
Yeah. So I would imagine that's a billion-dollar industry, that bed bugs in general.
Oh, absolutely.
And the situation that was happening beforehand. How, like, let's say you went to a place before bed bug dogs and you were looking for bed bugs. How do you find them? I mean, I imagine that was an expensive process.
Well, you'll have a complaint. Someone's getting bit, and then they're basically itching their skin off. The reaction is terrible. I actually react to them, but I fed them for years. So I in the name of science, I subject myself to a lot of abuse as well as my children. They fed bed bugs as well.
Yikes.
Oh, no.
Good grief.
Again, what's Dad brought home now? Oh, my goodness.
Well,
No.
over time, my kids would watch me feed the bed bugs, and they were all in vials, little clear jars, and we'd have paper in them, but we'd have silk screen that you would use to print T-shirts over the top, so you could breathe. And bed bugs would wake up if you blow carbon dioxide into the vial, and then you would just stick it to your skin, on your leg. The inside of my calf was where I'd feed them the most because
That's crazy talk.
I could stand at a podium and talk to a group of people all day long while scratching my leg because it was
Okay,
I
'cause
wanted
it's
to
right
tear my
there.
skin off.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
So my oldest son, Austin, actually, when he was in elementary school, decided that he was going to feed a vial of bed bugs. And he fed 5 vials. And
no.
the lids of the jars are about the size of a nickel. And if you react to them, it causes almost what looks like a burn. So it actually looked like I had burnt my son with a cigar.
Oh, goodness.
And he went to school with shorts on. And,
Oh, no.
So
No,
they,
no.
at the time, bed bugs weren't very common. So no one knew, it wasn't common knowledge that they were an insect that bites and can cause a reaction. So the teacher asked my son, he said, "Son, what's the matter with your leg?" He says, "Oh, those are just my bed bug bites." And the teacher said, "Son, that's bed bugs are a myth,
a myth.
So what's really going on?" And he told, in pure fashion of being my son, he said, "Well, if that's the case, then my dad has about 20 vials of myths at the house."
Myths.
And
oh, goodness.
He actually brought a business card in the next day, and the teacher looked it up, so I didn't have to deal with DCF on feeding my child to the insects.
That's very interesting. So on the other side of that, you were talking about mechanical ways to fix insect problems. How often do you find that to be a thing that works? Is that like an every time kind of thing?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody that's got a problem at the house, the insects are getting in some way. They're getting in some way, shape, or form, and it's usually from the exterior. There's usually trees that are touching the roof line. Just very simple things that you can do to kind of isolate your house from the outside elements. If you've got bushes and trees that are growing up over the roof line, well, then that's a perfect highway for any ants, carpenter ants, pharaoh ants, even rats. They love palm trees, and then you'll get roof rats in. They'll gnaw and chew in vents and things like that and get into the attic. But being keen around the outside of the house and being preventative is the best way.
Then as EcoVibe Services, are you guys doing all that along with what you're already doing?
Yeah, we do all kinds of different things to help eliminate the insects in the house themselves without having to just broadcast spray pesticides.
Wow.
Just simply treating the base of the trees. If they can't go up the tree, they can't go from the tree to the house. So you don't have to spray the entire yard. You can spray the base of the tree.
There you go.
That must require a very interesting group of people to work for you to make all that happen.
Oh, absolutely. And over the years, I've been blessed with able to have really good teams of people. When we had Micah Services, we did all of Central Florida in primarily hotels and hospitality because of the bed bug dogs and things like that. And that's just one example of companies that would actually take the high road and be a little bit more ecologically friendly rather than just broadcast spray pesticides in places that people are going to sleep. So
very interesting.
It was a good sale.
Now, here on the Space Coast, you must see some interesting things. What's some of the more outlandish calls you've been on?
Well, there's a lot of jokesters. I have had a guy call and ask if I could get rid of the termites in his wooden leg.
Good Lord. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
But for the most part, we get a lot of misconceptions about insects and different things that if someone gets bitten by, let's say, either a mosquito and they have a little swelling, they would think that it's some kind of a burrowing insect that burrows inside their skin. Oh. We do have that quite a bit, that people actually think that the insects will burrow in like a parasite and live under the skin. But
somebody's on WebMD a little bit too much.
Absolutely, yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
the internet's not always right.
You're right about that.
There's a lot of misinformation out there on different insects, and in the early stages, I use bed bugs a lot only because there wasn't a lot of information on bed bugs at the time, and the amount of misinformation was just pouring in. We actually had a consortium. We started a not-for-profit, and it was the National Bed Bug Association, and we had pest control companies from all over the world join just to get the information that we were 10 years ahead on the research. So we worked with many other pest control companies and would actually outfit them with dogs and canines. And we weren't just trying to do it for our own benefit. We actually did it. We've got canines all over the world. And,
wow.
And, different countries that are doing hospitality and mainly the companies that do want to take the high road and not blanket spray pesticides.
Which I would imagine is becoming a more and more common thing. People realizing the detriment of pesticides and wanting to do things a different way.
Absolutely. And that's where integrated pest management comes in. You just have to look at every structure individually and find out where its weak spots are. And that's just, being in the construction industry for years and seeing the houses built from the ground up and doing the pre-treats for the termites and things like that. Even that's becoming much more isolated. We're not having to spray the ground to contaminate the ground. We can actually pour the slab, and then when they put the frame up, we can contaminate the wood that's in the walls instead of actually putting it in the dirt.
Oh, okay.
So it's become a lot more ecologically friendly. The entire industry has over time. but it's people kind of like myself that look at the environment and you just don't want to contaminate everything, and you try to look at it objectively and figure out how we can stop this without having to contaminate.
And you're jumping 3 or 4 steps actually ahead each time before everybody else has got there, which allows you to jump into that missing piece of the business
Absolutely.
that nobody else has.
And I always just thought outside the box. I was 3rd generation, and my son is now 4th generation pest control, and he's learning absolutely everything that I have to offer. And it's a really good outlook on what to do and what not to do, and how to treat the environment with kid gloves.
So how long does it take you to train somebody to be able to do something? That's got to be a long learning curve.
It's a long learning curve. There's when people get to work in a pest control company, there's so many pest control companies in the state of Florida, and there's so many people that have the ability to learn more, but it's just a job. So we have to look for the people that think a little bit more outside the box, and it's not just a job. You're here to take care of the customer's problem, but you're here to do it in a manner that's not quite so abusive to Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. So it is hard to find those people that, number one, that care.
Yeah, well, and that would have the patience. I think that's
absolutely.
Patient.
I mean, there was an old commercial years ago, and it was the guy was standing at the door, and he says, "I'm here to spray your ants." And the lady says, "Well, I called for roaches." And he puts the tank in his other hand, and he says, "Well, I'm here to spray your roaches." So those days are long gone. We're now more targeted. Even with termites, with roaches and things like that, we use baits that they actually have to ingest, and it kills them. And then the insects will actually be carnivore to each other. Cannibalistic. They'll actually eat each other to get to the bait that's inside. So it's the new chemicals are very bioengineered to actually just affect the insects themselves. And it's much more safer for humans and the environment.
Oh, remember the guy we had on from mosquito control?
Indeed, yes.
And that too, they have like these larvae and all this stuff that they put out.
They can use larvicide that doesn't hurt any of the fish that they put in the water that'll kill the larvae.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing. They're trying to get ahead of the blanket spraying and do other things, because everybody's right where you're at, saying that there's detriment to it, which of course there is.
Absolutely.
You spray poison on everything, of course there's going to be things dying.
One of the days that actually made me smile, I was quite puzzled at first until I figured it out. And we used to see the Brevard County mosquito control helicopter fly over and spray. And one day I was actually my house is built around a koi pond, and it's open to the sky. So I have a big koi pond in the middle of my house. And I was tending to the koi pond and the turtles, and all of a sudden I got pelted with something from a helicopter. And I also have a body of water on the side of my house. And I collected the sample of what it was and sent it away, and it was actually Brevard County helicopter. I took a picture of the tail numbers and looked it up, and it was Brevard County mosquito control. And they were actually putting a larvicide out on all the bodies of water. Just happened to have a body of water in the middle of my house.
Oh, there you go.
But I was a little miffed at first, like what's raining down on me, and it was just a straight larvicide that was intended to hit all the bodies of water, the pond edges, the lakes, and the ditches and retention areas to kill the larvae for the mosquitoes. So that was and then later on, I actually saw it come from the drone. So they're not using the helicopter; they're using more efficient methods in the drone, and it's actually putting out the larvicide.
And that is a giant drone too.
Absolutely, it's neat to see. But it's just examples of the industry changing, and we're actually cutting them off at the pass and helping out Mother Nature by doing it more specific instead of just broad spectrum nerve agents that kills all the insects.
Now, are you all focused just on residential stuff, or are you doing commercial stuff too?
We do commercial stuff as well.
Okay.
We do some hotels. We do assisted living facilities. We do a lot of residential, and we just have fun doing it. And look at everything as a new opportunity to learn something. Lately we've been doing a lot of bats.
I've been hearing about pretty much a bat takeover in on the Space Coast.
Absolutely. Yeah. We did some yesterday. We did some today. We're always treating bats. So
they require a whole different set of special permits, right? Because Remind me, is there 5 different species of bat on the Space Coast, or is it just it's? I know it's brown bats and something else.
There's a couple of different types, but the key factor with your bats is that you can't eradicate them out of an attic during certain times of the year. During the summertime, you can't because of their mating season. If there's young in the nest, what we do is we save the bats. We don't ever kill bats. You don't want to. They eat their weight in mosquitoes. Yeah. And the biggest part is that the only reason they're getting into your attic is there's a hole somewhere. So again, it falls under the integrated pest management. We wait for the bats to come out. We do them at night, obviously. When the bats are out foraging for food, we'll actually seal up the entrance and they can't go back into the house. And that will stop them from coming back, but they will find another area. We used to put bat boxes. I put bat boxes on all of my structures just to give them a place to go.
Yeah, I heard that was becoming a common thing too, which is good. I mean, you're getting
absolutely.
rid of them, but yet you're not getting rid of them because if they're there for a reason.
Well, and if you can keep them in the area, they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna take care of the mosquitoes.
Absolutely,
they're there for a reason.
There's so many things that will help with the mosquitoes, and then our own native green tree frogs will eat mosquitoes, and our native lizards will eat mosquitoes. We have a big problem with Cuban tree frogs that don't eat mosquitoes, but they eat all of the other reptiles that eat mosquitoes.
Yes, everything.
So they're definitely invasive, and they're not taking care of our mosquito problem at all.
I read the other day that they're in all 50 states now.
All of them.
Yeah. There's no getting rid of those guys.
Really?
Yeah,
in Alaska?
They're in Alaska. Yeah, they're in Canada also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy stuff.
The same used to be with fire ants.
Oh, yeah.
Before the 50s, there was no fire ants in the state of Florida.
Yep.
And that makes you squint and think.
It does.
There's a native fire ant, which is the one you see with the little volcano mound.
Okay.
And they're not aggressive because they have multiple queens.
That's the bright orange looking one.
The bright orange ones with the little tiny mound.
Don't see many of those anymore.
No.
Used to see them all the time.
They're outnumbered by the imported fire ant. And that's what we consider fire ants, is the big mound. It's actually, its name is the imported fire ant because it came from the islands.
Really?
Yeah, It came over on ships. And now it's all the way, again, it's in all 50 states. It's into Canada. It's in other countries all over the world. And one of the reasons that I started looking at the more natural side of the pesticide industry is just that reason alone. When we were kids, we could walk through the woods and there was quail everywhere. There was coveys of quail absolutely everywhere, and you couldn't go in the woods without seeing a covey of quail. And the fire ant is to blame for the reduction in quail populations because they're ground nesters. So the fire ants they will just go destroy the new hatchlings. They'll eat the birds, they'll eat everything that's inside that egg. It's nature's perfect food. So the fire ants have destroyed a lot of our native populations simply because of where they're at and because of their increase in populations. And they're extremely violent because they only have one queen. Each nest has only one queen. And you'll find in nature, if you only have one queen, those insects are going to be aggressive because they have to protect the queen at all costs.
Okay.
Our native fire ants that make the little mounds that are bright orange are not near as aggressive because their colony can have multiple queens.
Wow. I got a question for you. This is just, you might not know, and you just tell me I'm being an idiot. Where did love bugs come from?
Oh,
and is it my imagination? I think
Lord.
we've been seeing less and less of them.
We definitely, by the time I was 16 and started driving, they were such a nuisance.
Oh yeah, they used to cover the front of your car.
Absolutely, it is a seasonal beetle that is grown. They grow in the marsh areas, and then all of the conspiracy theorists about
they were made at the University of Florida.
Of Florida, and it's covered our swamps now.
I graduated from Florida State, so I subscribe to that theory.
It's just terrible gators. But yeah, it's seasonal, definitely, and we find that they're attracted to white colors, light in color. If you have a white car, all of our service trucks are white, and they're also attracted to carbon dioxide or monoxide from the motors.
Okay.
And the heat. So we run the little pony motors to do spraying, and our trucks are just absolutely covered with them.
They just love it. Yeah.
But they're not a socially engineered insect that was designed to kill mosquitoes.
No, I heard they came up through the port of New Orleans on a ship that they came that way, or something.
Just like the imported fire ant. When you look at the stories and try to figure out where these things have come from, it's a difficult process, but there is data from all the different Department of Agricultures in every state, and that's why we know what we know about the fire ant, and also with the love bugs. There's been love bug studies that are especially out, west of Titusville, in the swamp out there in the grass marshes. They are just
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There were certain weeks of the year that you just wouldn't drive to Orlando.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
The paint on your car was at risk.
Yeah.
It's very acidic.
So this makes me think about something I learned last week randomly. What is the largest invasive species in the Americas? It's a weird one I just learned about.
Hogs?
No, bigger.
Bigger than hogs?
Bigger. Bigger than horses.
This is what this is the thing you told me about.
Did I tell you about this?
I think
I
told
might
me
have told
this
you about
one.
this. Yes. So I guess the dictator in Colombia, President Colombia, I'm not sure which one it is, brought in 100 hippos.
Hippos?
There's hippos now in Colombia.
Really?
Yeah. Is that nuts or what?
Yeah, I would not want to bring those into my waterways.
No.
Like, how do you ship those over? I want to kind of know that answer to that question. But there's weird ones 101. It just made me think about that. All these crazy animal talks. Anyhow, I've been trying to wrap my head around that. I'm like, I really don't want hippos in Florida. I really don't think it's a good idea.
Well, I don't think they're going to stow away on a ship. Okay, I don't think that's happening. I think we're okay.
They start traveling north.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're in Belize.
Well,
they made it to Mexico. They have a little army. They're traveling together.
Those crazy invasive hippos.
Yes.
Dude, I've heard crazier ideas, but that's a pretty nuts one.
I think we can pretty much see them coming. Okay.
Yeah. That's the problem.
I don't think they're stowing away.
They're not going to sneak up on you.
Yeah. Dear Lord. Yes, indeed. Micah, so if people want to learn more about your business and the things you're working on, where can they find you guys and how can they reach you?
We're right here in Titusville. We have EcoVibeServices.com. We're also on Facebook, and we're right here locally, and you can give us a call at 321-947-1342.
Okay. Any last things you want to talk about before we jump off?
No, we're here for everybody, and we offer up pretty good solutions on any of their insect problems, and we try to do it naturally and help Mother Nature.
Yeah, it's the way, this is the perfect place to talk about this on a nonprofit that's focused on, because we're a nonprofit focused on the wildlife of a local environment. This is the perfect time to discuss this kind of stuff. So
absolutely.
We really appreciate you coming out here and talking about it.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes, sir.
Another one wrapped up, buddy.
Yes, another one in the books.
Let's put it in the can.
Let's do it. So you need to look at that camera and do your little spiel.
Sir, yes, sir. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. If you'd like to learn more about EEARSS, you can go over to EEARSS.org or .com or AlligatorRobb.com. Robb's my last name, not my first name. It's a whole thing. It has 2 B's, not 1 B. So if you'd like to learn more about us, the research we're doing, please jump on over there, and we will catch you all next week. Bye-bye.